Yo, good afternoon everybody. How you doing? This is your coach Renz, and today in this video I'm going to show you how to tell if your conflict has been resolved, and if it hasn't been resolved, it will come back again. I want to first tell you how when I was a young man, and one of the first clients that I've ever had when I was in the Marine Corps, who I was counseling them in couples counseling, this young man would always come into my office with his spouse. And every time, after a while, I started to realize when I would see them for the exact same problem and when a problem was resolved. Now I'll tell you, this is what would happen. The young man would come into my office with his wife. They would express to me what the problem was and what happened and who did what and why, and they would explain why they did it and their reasons and rationales for either one of their actions. But I began to notice over the years that anytime someone apologized, whether it's him or her, but especially with him, anytime that they would apologize to one another, if they apologized but still maintain eye contact away from the other person, if they apologized and kept moving and doing other things and focusing on other things, that anytime their apology was connected to not being attentive to the other person, that the apology was insincere, that they may have understood, they may know that they may be wrong, but inside they didn't think that they were. Inside they just wanted it to end. The apology wasn't sincere. So I always knew that that situation was coming back, that situation has not been put to rest, that they will be back again in a few months, because that situation will repeat itself, because it'll be on his mind for a couple of weeks, and then he'll forget and then continue back in his old ways, and they'll be right back in the same situation. Now, conversely to that, same couple, if he made a mistake, if he did something that hurt her feelings, something that caused her to not feel as loved, and he truly was sincere in his apology, if he truly empathized with her pain, key word, empathized with her pain, then his apology was always gazing into her eyes as he apologized and expressed his understanding. His apology always accompanied his hand on her shoulder or on her lap or holding her hand. There was always a level of affection, slight interruption, but the apology was always accompanied by some level of affection. You see, if you just recently had an argument, or you've been having an argument, whether it is you or your mate, I can tell you this, and I want you to pull from your own experience, and I want you to pull from your own personal experience. In your own personal experience, you know that you have apologized, but in your mind, you did not agree. In your mind, you thought that you were still right, or that the situation was overblown, or that the person was just making up stuff. Whatever it is, you were not in agreement with the other person. You didn't empathize with them. You couldn't feel what they were feeling. You didn't internalize your apology. You just spoke it because you wanted the situation to just be over, and let's just get on with our day and get on with our life. How many times have you done that? I'll wait. How many times have you done that? 2, 3, 4, 5 times? You've done that. But then I want you to pull back into your own experiences again. I want you to think about a time where you knew that you were wrong. Or even if you weren't wrong intentionally, you knew that you hurt that person. And when you apologized to them, that apology was filled with sincerity. That apology was filled with love. That you empathized and felt their pain and recognized what was going on inside them and truly showed them love and consideration. That it impacted you emotionally, so that it's not just something you understand. When it impacts you to the point where you are emotionally tied to your understanding, more often than not, that subject that situation is not revisited. It may have to be revisited maybe once or twice, but it's always less. But more than likely, it's not revisited. Why? Because you felt the pain. You felt the empathy. You were sincere in your apology. Now, I want you to be able to recognize that. Because in your relationships, when somebody apologizes to you, whether it's a family relationship, a love interest relationship, whether it's children, whether it's parents, whatever the relationship is, work relationship, when somebody gives you an emotionless apology, know that you will be coming back to that situation again. But when someone gives you one that is filled with sincerity, where they empathize with you, then that person has shown you something. That person has shown you that they are deeply concerned about your emotions and your mental state. That person has shown you that they have an appreciation for who you are, an appreciation for what you do, an appreciation for the relationship that you have. This is not always romantic relationships. Matter of fact, me and one of my best male friends, we went through a similar situation about 6 years ago. About 6 years ago, we had a misunderstanding. Most of the misunderstanding was on my part. But there was some dual misunderstanding. And we had a very heart-to-heart conversation about it. And even though we were 3,000 miles apart from each other, you could hear the sincerity in both of our apologies for the misunderstanding that we had. You can feel the energy of sympathy going through the phone line. You could feel it. And because that apology on both sides had that level of empathy, our friendship became stronger than it ever was in the past. That's what it does for you. So if you are not feeling the empathy, you're not feeling sincere, don't apologize. Don't do it, because the situation will come back. Don't do it because you will continue to act in such a way that created the situation in the first place, that made the person feel however they felt. And if you're the other person, you may accept it. You may go on. But always know in the back of your mind that you'll go through it again. Until that person feels it, you'll go through it again. It's just the way it is. Now, if you love that person, if you desire to maintain that relationship with that person, then the next time it happens, you have to change your approach. The next time it happens, you have to remind them in such a way that they can understand it better. Because sometimes people don't understand what grieves us because we haven't figured out how to get the information across to them of what the gravity of the situation is. So you may have to come to them differently. You may have to speak to them differently. You have to try different things until they come to an understanding of it. That is not the easiest thing to do. It takes time. But if you've seen some of my other videos, then you know that I believe that you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to put in the effort. Great relationships don't happen simply because two people say they're going to have a great relationship. Great relationships happen because two people decide that they're going to take on the challenge, that they're willing to do what's necessary to make the relationship great. You see, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you want to have a mastermind with them, where two people come together in agreement for what it is that you want the outcome to be, then that takes effort, energy, and work. That takes a unified mind, a unified body, a unified spirit, a unified energy. But when you have that, then the greatness of a relationship is yours to have. And if it's in a romantic relationship where two people come together to build a life together, and they are of a mastermind where they are in agreement that they are going to have abundance, that they're going to have love, that they're going to have consideration, that they're going to have intimacy, that they're going to have health, that they're going to have wealth. When they come together in a mastermind of that, there's absolutely nothing in this world that can stop them. There's absolutely nothing in the energetic world that can stop them. There's nothing in the spirit world that can stop them. There's nothing in the mental world, the physical world, the plant world, the animal world that can stop that couple who come into a mastermind of an agreement of what they're going to do and what they're going to have in their lives. And something even more powerful, when an entire family comes together, when the parents and the children come together, that is a powerful family, because they will raise powerful children who will raise powerful children who will raise powerful children, generation after generation. And then when brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and a people come together, then the unity of that mastermind, that group mastermind, becomes so powerful that a nation can't stop it. So if you want to have this kind of life, if you want to build on something like that, whether it is just you individually or if it's you in a relationship, then resolve your conflicts. Resolve your conflicts by coming into a mastermind, by understanding how to get past the mental apology and get more into the energetic and emotional apology, so that the conflict is resolved. And once the conflict is resolved, the mastermind begins to form, and then the greatness is yours.